when I'm looking at someone's sales process, the first four things I want to know are their cancellation rate, their show rate, their offer rate, and their close rate. And they need to be tracking all of these, ideally. Some people are not tracking them. A lot of people are not tracking, for example, offer rate. A lot of people will track like show rate, close rate, that kind of thing. But you need to, number one, be tracking all of them. And number two, these are the things that you need to look at to be able to make strategic decisions in the sales process to improve things and start making more money. If you're wondering who I am, my name's Oliver. I've closed over $1.5 million in sales over the last few years. And these days I work with quite scalable online businesses to help them optimize their sales process and make more money. So the first thing you need to be focused on is the stage of the process that is the furthest from the KPI. This is how you solve them in order of importance. You pick the one that is furthest from KPI. So the KPIs should be, you've got about 25% or better cancellation rate, 65% or better show rate, 70% or better offer rate, aka that is how many people join the call and then you actually this is a good fit, I'm going to actually try and close them or offer them on this. And then close rate, pretty self-explanatory. Of those people that you do offer, what percentage of those people do you close? Now, if your cancellation rate is 25% or 20% and your show rate 65%, but then your offer rate is 30%, I would start looking at lead quality first and foremost, because most of the time when myself or our sales teams, when they're jumping on calls and they're not offering as many people, it usually comes down to lead quality, because I believe, and as everybody should, you should only offer people stuff if you actually think it's going to help them, you think it's a good fit. So if someone's not a good fit, then you're not going to offer, and if someone is, you are. So basically, offer rate is just a direct reflection of how good the lead quality is, how correct the people who are jumping on the call are in regards to your intended kind of ideal client that you want to, or prospect, that you want to be bringing onto the call. So in that scenario where, our cancellation rate was fine, our show rate was fine, but our offer rate was terrible, first things first, I'd be like, damn, we need to look at the offer rate. Even if the close rate is 10%, if the offer rate was 20%, I'm like, damn, that's 3 times lower than where it needs to be. Whereas the close rate's only 50% lower than where it needs to be. So I'd be like, okay, offer rate needs looking at first. That comes down to lead quality. How can we improve lead quality? Well, that is in part an issue with marketing, or the offer or whatever that may be. Offer comes into all of this. Offer impacts lead quality, impacts people's show rates, impacts close rates. So that kind of offer is a thing that kind of juices this entire system. It either it's like a tailwind or a headwind, depending on whether it's good or bad. But that's a topic for a different video I've just mentioned on here, because it is crucial to this process. But yeah, basically, we'd be like, okay, offer rate's really low, lead quality mustn't be very high, therefore we need to make some changes to the funnel or to the offer or to the ads or to whatever marketing you're doing to improve the lead quality. Then, let's say we implemented those changes and all of a sudden our lead quality jumps up massively. In this scenario, that would actually bring our cancellation rate down even further from what it would be. In that first example where I said it'd be 20%, our offer rate would go up, let's just say from 20% to, 65%. Still not in KPI, but much closer, or 60%, let's just say. Still not in KPI, but much, much, much closer. Now, the second thing I'd be looking at would be the close rate, because presumably the close rate would stay the same, because the close rate is only based on people who are being offered. So prior, the close rate was the same as it will be now, because of the people who are being offered, of the people who are good fit, that's how many of them are being closed, which comes down to your persuasive ability and your offer as well, right? So next thing I'll be looking at is the close rate. So we fixed the offer rate, or we've got it way better. Now we look at close rate. Okay, close rate's 10%. Ideally, we want it to be 20% or higher of the people that we do offer. How can we improve that? Well, we can be better closers. We can be more persuasive. We can have also a better offer. But yeah, let's just say if we just focus purely on the individual and something that is a little bit more plastic, a little bit more, subject to change. You don't just want to be swapping your offer around all the time, but you can be improving as a closer all the time. I'd be thinking, okay, let's just say you've got the sales team, their average close rate is 10%. I'd be thinking we need to look at more calls. We need to do more role plays. We need to maybe look at the scripts, look at the process. Where are people tripping up? Where are the biggest objections? What are people objecting to the most? What is the biggest issues everyone's facing? I'd want to sit down with absolutely everybody on the sales team and get a genuine, honest feedback on what do you think needs to be improved? Where do you think things are going wrong right now? Really listen to the team, because the team are the people who've got boots on the ground all day, every day. They know their shit, and you need to create an environment where they can tell you what's going wrong, because otherwise you won't know, and then the business won't improve. So let's just say, in this scenario, this hypothetical scenario that we've just played out, our offer rate was 20%, we got up to 60. Our close rate was 10%. Let's just say after 4 or 5 weeks of really honing in on what the issues were, role playing, drilling those particular, maybe the objections that keep coming up, maybe money objection keeps coming up. That's the biggest objection that keeps being that keeps coming up and keeps stumping your sales team. Maybe it's burning the past objection. We will drill that, make sure that everybody was 100% on it. Now close rate goes up from 10% to 18%, and amazing. We're way closer. Now I'd be like, right, what's the worst one of these? So let's just say cancellation rate's still in a good place, 20%, show rate's still in a good place, 70%, offer rate's 60%, close rate's 18%. Well, close rate is very, very nearly a KPI. Offer rate, still a little bit of the way to go. So then I'd be like, okay, how can we improve the offer rate? Again, we would look at improving the lead quality, and so on and so forth. It works regardless of which metric or which stage of the process is having issues, essentially. So if you could have it that your show rate's good, your offer rate's good, your close rate's good, but your cancellation rate's just really, really high for whatever reason, and the lead quality could be down to that. You could, a really common one is poor show rates. You can have a really high offer rate and a really high close rate, but if your show rate's terrible, it can destroy your business. But by transforming it, it can completely just transform your business as well. Let me just throw another example out there. If we just forget cancellation rate for a minute here, or it doesn't really make a difference. Let's just say it's in KPI, right? And our show rate is 30%, right? Offer rate's 95% and close rate's 40%. Okay. Or it doesn't really make a difference what the offer rate and close rate is here either. All I'm trying to say really is, if you could just take your show rate from 30 to 60%, you'll double the business. You'll double the number of sales you're doing every single month just by increasing the show rate, just by doubling the show rate. Because double show rate means double the amount of offers, double the amount of closes. It is that simple. It is that simple. And there are so many things you can do, small things, to increase your show rate, like pre-call nurturing processes, like emails that go out to people, not just reminders, like sales assets that go out to them, like case studies. Your closers giving those people a call. Hey, how's it going? Really excited to jump on a call with you. Just wanted to hype you up, whatever, before our call on Monday or whatever. There's loads of different things you can implement into the process to further qualify people, to warm people up more, to increase the show rate, bringing calls closer. Say you've got someone who's booked 3 days from now at 4 p.m. and you've got a slot open up at 4 p.m. today, and right now you're looking at the clock and it's 10 a.m. Giving that person a call. Hey, it would be great to jump on a call sooner. Can you do 4 p.m. today instead? And the person's like, yeah, of course, I would much prefer that. I didn't even want to do a 4 p.m. on Thursday, but it just, that was the only time that was available. Amazing. They're going to show up now. They're going to be more excited, more bought in or whatever. There's just so many different things. And so you just need to be essentially looking at all these numbers, having some kind of minimum KPI, 25% cancellation rate, 65% show rate, 70% offer rate, 20% close rate, and making sure that you are attacking each one of these in order of importance. And the way you determine the order of importance, which one's the furthest out of KPI, bring it as close as possible, then reorder that list in terms of which one's furthest out of KPI, and repeat, and so on and so forth. Final little kind of tip pointer, little tidbit at the end here is, once everything's in KPI, you got a couple different choices. I think probably the thing that I would look to do then is scale the system. So once everything's in KPI, let's just say the cancellation rate's good, show rate's good, offer rate's good, close rate's good, the main things I'd want to focus on improving would probably be the number of calls that get taken every single week or month or whatever by the closers, and just how many closers. Yeah, that's actually the number one thing, call volume. And then the way to do that is to make your calendar more efficient, which you can do by watching the video that I posted. I think it's the last video I posted on how to optimize your calendar and how to do more call volume, like the most important thing to focus on. And also, you can hire more people, so you can either be more efficient per person or hire more people, or both. Even better. That's everything. Hope you enjoyed the video, and have a great day.